Greetings, hello. My name is Aaron. Today I was just gonna do a little talking because recently this is my first electric guitar ever. It's my Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro. It's great. I love it. I've always loved it, and it's a super sturdy guitar. I rarely have problems with it, but when I moved, I think some humidity had either gotten into it or gotten out of it. Some moisture had affected it, and its action was really low to the point where it was buzzing. And so one day I was like, well, I'll just figure out how to, not necessarily figure out how to fix it, because I've I've done a little bit of, like, I don't know, guitar maintenance. I prefer to do guitar maintenance myself because then you learn things about guitars, like wiring and things. I've done some different wiring projects. The first one was I found my uncle's old guitar. It was one of, like, the first generation PRS Santanas. It was really cool, but it had been gutted. All the pickups were gone. All the electrics were gone out of it. It was just a guitar body, or a fully put together guitar, but it just had no electric. So I bought some pickups and some pots and a switch and some wiring and stuff, and I attempted to resurrect it, per se, and it was somewhat successful. I certainly made some mistakes. I'm not sure the pickups, or maybe the I'm not sure what was wrong, but the neck pickup in particular was really loose. It basically would just fall out. If you held the guitar like this, it would just fall onto the strings. And I never really figured out what that was. I think maybe the holes were stripped in the actual guitar body itself that held the pickups in. I don't know. Or most likely I just made a mistake. Also, I had to splice a few different things because I didn't really know how to strip like shielding off of wire. I think I was just doing it with, like, scissors, and I kept cutting through the wires, and at one point I cut too long, so I had to splice the portion of wire I had cut off onto the portion of wire that was left, and do it that way. And I think they worked. They made sound. And so that was my first experience with electronics in guitars. And then I redid the pickups in this guitar. These are the pickups were okay in the original. They were good. I didn't dislike them, but they were push-pull, and they were really hot. And I wasn't a huge fan of. I guess I just wanted to try something new. So I got these, like, 57 or 58, 50 something DiMarzio. I don't know. There's some reissue of like a PAF style old humbucker thing, and they came with, like, the old wiring where it's just, like, braided steel or something. I don't know what it is. It's a braided thing around it that you actually have to ground out onto the pots. You have to ground the braiding instead of them giving you a ground wire. You have to ground this braiding that's outside of the wire and then do all the regular wiring. It's interesting. It was fun, and it's actually, I would say, easier than wiring, like, new pickups with more wires, because you really just have one cable that you have to worry about, and then the shielding. And you do have to do this weird thing where you have to, like, up near the switch, you have to kind of wrap a piece of wire around the entire each specific cable and solder them together so that they're all grounded onto each other. I think that's how it works. I don't know totally for sure, but anyway, that was fairly successful. This guitar has a few, like, the sweep of the volume is not great. Like, if I and yeah, it doesn't even turn off. Like, there is no zero, which is not a huge deal because I'm not changing volume. The sweep is just not great. Like, it goes from 10 probably to 5, and then for whatever reason it doesn't go below 5. So I have to figure that out. I'll probably rewire it at some point, but I've never been that worried about it because I don't do a lot of at least 2-0 volume changes. Like, sometimes I'll roll it back for, like, if I'm using an overdrive pedal or something and I want to clean it up, but Other than that, it's not the tone sweep is good. So I did whatever happened on the tone knob. I did that right, I guess. And if I use this is a, I would say that's a known Les Paul problem though. It's just the shitty switch. Like the switch. See there, my middle position will sweep okay. But I've always had problem with Les Paul switches. They're like, see, you have to. I maintain that it's the fact that they literally give you like maybe 2 centimeters on either side of the switch to do it. I don't know why they don't route out a bigger switch hole. Like it's impossible to solder inside of it or to get it's just not easy to maneuver in. And anyway, I made probably some mistakes in this as well, but it is functional. And then I rewired this, which is a pawn shop guitar that I bought that was having some switch issues. And now they're all fixed. I just bought a new switch. And this was push-pull too. I'm not a huge fan of push-pull pickups. I don't know why. I just find that the it's not a sound that I like the what do you the single coil tapping is not, I don't find it at all satisfying. It just ends up sounding more kind of like frail and jangle, not even, yeah, kind of jangly, but also just like brittle. It's a weird sound, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Like there's a certain punchy roundedness that exists in like a real single coil. Like these are great. I love the pickups the single coil pickups they put in these Music Man Cutlass Sterling things. They're great. I really like the 4th and 5th position of this guitar. The humbucker I'm gonna switch out because I don't really. It's a super also shrill and like frail. It's really hot, but it's also super high-endy, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I like my humbuckers to be a little dark and low-endy. And so this one I will probably eventually replace that, but for now it's just I usually really just have it to get Strat sounds. So I'm not that worried about the single coil. But anyway, guitar maintenance. I find that people get really nervous about guitar maintenance. Like I had a friend whose bass input jack had literally just fallen into his guitar or into his bass, and I was like, just pull it out and put it back and refasten it. And he was so scared to do it because he was afraid he's gonna fuck something up. I was like, it's not. You're not. That's like the number one takeaway from whatever this video is you're most likely not gonna fuck your guitar up. Guitars are pretty malleable and what idiot proof. Like there's just not a whole lot going on that you can really fuck up unless you're like truss rod adjustments are another one that people get really anxious about. I'm like, the only way you can really fuck up a truss rod is if you crank it so hard that and you're gonna know when you're at that point because it's not going any further. Like, and even then, you're probably not gonna snap it. Like, all you have to do is, if you really fuck up, my main piece of advice would be try, maybe fuck up, and if you fuck up, you can go have somebody fix it because it was already broken in the first place or not satisfying in the first place. So you just are in the same exact position that you were before you tried. And guitar maintenance is really not that hard. The electronics can get a little confusing, like reading wiring diagrams and things like that, but even then, if you just go slow, and it's the same kind of method of thinking. I mean, if something's messed up and you try to fix it, it's still messed up. Maybe a little marginally more messed up than it was, or marginally less. You could have gotten it almost fixed. Like when I did these, I wired them and something was wrong. I took it to a place, and I was like, can you fix this? I think something's wrong. I didn't wire it correctly. And he took it and the guy there, he was a really cool guy, Flores Music in Peoria, Illinois. It's a great shop, and he took it and like did some examining of what was going on, plugged it in and stuff. I wasn't getting signal, and he somehow got it to get signal. And he comes up to me, and because I told him I was wiring it myself, and he goes, "You wired this yourself?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Just try again." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Just try it. You're really close. Just try again, and you'll get it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Whatever that means. He didn't even give me a solution, and I'm sure he knew one, but he just understood that he understood what I was trying to do, and I think, wanted to encourage me to push through and to finish it. And it was super simple. I think it was a matter of the switch cables that you have to ground together weren't quite grounded totally, so you had to like push them together to get sound. And then I just took the wire that I had off, resoldered it tighter, and it worked. So thanks to that guy. He's a really nice guy. I never got his name. I still have his phone number though, because I texted him after that, and I was like, "Thanks, man. Thanks for the encouragement." And so what I had to do to this, and another thing about truss rod adjustments is it's almost never a truss rod adjustment in my experience, especially on like electric guitar. Or, I mean, you could probably compensate with a truss rod adjustment, but I would go there like last. Like this particular problem, it was really buzzy when you were fretting stuff. When you weren't fretting anything, it was fine. So I came to the conclusion that it might be this bridge, which is adjustable. It has like screws on either side, and you can screw it up and down, and that raises the strings up off of your fretboard. So I just used a little bit of logic. I was like, well, if it's buzzing because it's too close to the fretboard, then if I raise it off the fretboard, it will stop buzzing, hopefully. And it worked. It's like as simple as that. And so my advice is just try things, and if it doesn't work, you can get it fixed because it was already broken. So, and it's not that hard. Just use a little bit of like common sense and caution. Don't like go into, if your electronics are broken, don't go into your cavity and start like ripping things out, but take a look. See, like, you can kind of tell sometimes, like, if there's a wire disconnected, or if like a capacitor has fallen off or maybe snapped. You can look at that and go, that doesn't look correct. Then you can Google solutions, or you can even just take it to a tech and ask them how you can fix it, because most of these people will tell you how to fix it, if they're decent people. If you go, hey, I have this problem, I want to try to fix it myself, can you like take a look at this and tell me what's, like, a diagnosis? They'll diagnose it for you, hopefully, if they're decent. And some people can be a little underhanded with things like that, but in my experience, most people are actually super helpful and want to help you. That's like why they work in guitar stores, and why they kind of devoted their life to fixing guitars, is because they enjoy, I don't know, most people are just good people, as far as I can tell, as far as I've been exposed. Most people in this context are music lovers who want other people to be music lovers, and that doesn't just necessarily end at music. It being able to fix your instruments is like a super important part of music. It's not bad to have them fixed by a professional. It's probably better in a lot of ways, but it costs money, and it's good to know things. It's good to know, because then you can fix, like the friend I was talking about whose bass jack fell into his, or whose input jack fell into his bass. I was like, I'll fix it. It can't be that hard. All I did was shake it around a little bit until the bass jack fell through the hole, put it back, reattach the washer, and he was like, "Oh man, you're the best." And I was like, "It was super easy. It's not that hard. All you need is a wrench and like 5 minutes of spare time." But yeah, I was really happy about that. It's always a really good feeling to fix something yourself, because then you add to your knowledge and you can fix it in the future, and you can diagnose other people's problems. Like if somebody came to me with a Les Paul and was like, "Hey, my frets are buzzy," and they have one of these adjustable bridges, tune-o-matic or whatever they call it, I would be like, "Well, just adjust your bridge and maybe that'll help," or maybe you need to adjust your truss rod. yeah, I mean, or maybe you just have a warped neck that's totally effed, or maybe one of your frets is high. You need to like tap down your fret. Um, so yeah, that's just a bit of a rant, I suppose. But I just yeah, I'm, maybe I'll do some videos on guitar maintenance when I maintain my guitars. Most of them are pretty good right now. I actually need to redo the I think I need to rewire this switch because it's switches are they're so temperamental. I've had one guitar ever that has a good switch. That's that my Ibanez, which has a great that thing is a tank. Like nothing has ever broken. I've only had it for 6 months now, but zero problems. It's like my favorite guitar for that reason. It's just entirely sturdy and it works perfectly. But every other guitar I've had has switch problems. It's a pandemic, but it is what it is. You just gotta figure it out, you know. Gotta figure your guitars out. But that's that. Yeah, maybe I'll come back. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because fix your guitars. Try, just try. There's so many resources available on the internet and at stores and things, and most people are just trying to be helpful. And you'll learn something, and it's always knowledge is invaluable in the realm of most things. Um, Except maybe, well, we won't go there. We won't get dark today. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. It's Monday, so everybody have a good week, and I'll catch you later.